Good morning, Maine West. I'm Chris Modi.
And I'm Avery Rizzi.
And welcome to this week's edition of Warrior Weekly.
In this episode, we have your coverage on this year's homecoming, Band Book Week, and more.
Stay tuned.
The Maine West Homecoming Dance took place on September 17th. The week leading up to the dance started with Spirit Days, including Minion Monday, Adam Sandler Day, on Wednesdays we were Pink Day, Class Color Day, and Blue and Gold Friday. The week ended with the homecoming football game against Wheeling and the red carpet-themed homecoming dance.
Throughout the month of September, the Environmental Club has been releasing butterflies on the pool patio to help increase their population. This is more important now than ever because monarch butterflies were recently listed as endangered. Butterflies are a major pollinator, which makes them very important to the ecosystem. To join the Environmental Club, contact Miss Elberg in room A110.
And now to Brooke with this week's sports update.
What's going on, Warriors? It's Brooke with your sports update. Congratulations to the boys soccer team for coming back from a 3-0 deficit to win 6-3 against Niles West. Great perseverance. The Maine West varsity football team faced Wheeling for this year's homecoming game. After a tough game, the Warriors lost 10-20. On September 8th, the girls varsity swim team took a win against Maine East and Regina with a score of 134. Great job, Warriors. Maine West cross-country athletes Joey B. and Frankie F. were top finishers at their meet on September 17th. Congratulations to these incredible athletes. Maine West varsity volleyball beat Maine East by winning the first two sets. In the second set, the Warriors beat the Blue Demons by a nail-biting 1 point. That's it for this week's sports update. And now to Jude for a check-in with your girls volleyball team.
What's good, Warriors? This is Jude Santos, and I'm here checking in with the girls volleyball team about their favorite memories of the season and greatest challenges.
I think that the most challenging team we played against this year was Niles West during our regional semifinal because we had the pressure of it being our regional semifinal, but it was also, they were a really scrappy team with scrappy defense, so it was definitely challenging.
I think we can work on our team togetherness, so getting ourselves out of a hole and playing up and playing strong all the time.
Despite these challenges, the girls loved the Dig Pink game, celebrating their coach who is a breast cancer survivor.
Dig Pink was a nice moment for the volleyball team kind of to connect and all come together for Coach Fair, so it was a nice time just for everyone to come together and have fun.
This is Jude Santos with WMTH Sports.
Freshman Olivia Young is the first baton twirler to perform with the Maine West Marching Band in over 20 years. Here to tell you more about this talented performer is Abby Wilson.
Olivia Young, a freshman, is the first twirler at Maine West since the early 1990s. A twirler is a person who twirls a baton and does dance and tricks with it for entertainment with the marching band.
For Maine West, I twirl at the home football games during pregame and halftime, and I did just twirl at the homecoming assembly. And outside of school, I create and practice my routines for the football games.
Olivia learned how to twirl outside of Maine West when she was little in the Silver Knights Baton Corps, and even had the opportunity to compete at Nationals.
Nationals is very intense. It usually lasts about a week long. My days lasted at least anywhere from 8 to 12 hours.
But Olivia didn't become a twirler by chance.
I am a third-generation twirler. So my grandma, when she was growing up, she twirled. Then when my mom and her sister were growing up, my grandma ran their baton corps. And then when I was 4 years old, my mom took me to the Silver Knights Baton Corps to watch and asked me if I was interested. And I said yes, and I was there for about 5-ish years.
And there are many benefits to having a twirler in the band.
The greatest thing about having a twirler is it adds another visual flair to the show we do. With the marching band, the drum line, the color guard, the twirler adds a whole nother aspect of our performance.
But twirling isn't as easy as Olivia makes it seem.
You really have to be dedicated and want to put in the work because it takes a lot of time and a lot of hours just to learn one simple trick, and you have to perfect the tricks if you want to go and perform them at a competition, or if you're like me on a football field in front of probably hundreds of people.
With Olivia only being a freshman, Maine West has a lot more twirling to look forward to in the years to come. This is Abby Wilson with WMTH News.
Band Book Week took place from September 12th to September 30th. To tell you more about this meaningful week is Addie Webb.
During the last 2 weeks of September, the Maine West LRC had bookshelves covered in caution tape to represent Banned Book Week.
Banned Book Week is the celebration of our freedom to read. We celebrate our First Amendment rights, we celebrate a freedom from censorship, and we do a lot of lessons talking about why those things are important. A banned book is a book that is actually removed from the shelves. We do not have any books that are banned here. However, in the United States, books like Mouse have been removed from curriculum. Genderqueer, that one has been removed in many locations, so it has been banned.
While Maine West does not have any banned books in its library, this week is a way to learn about book freedom and having a right to read.
If we start taking books away because we deem them inappropriate or not for one group of people, we are stripping that group of people, in this case students, of their right to decide that for themselves.
But the purpose of Banned Book Week is not just to share the effects of censorship, but to learn how representation is crucial in books and media.
The American Library Association has found that the majority of challenges deal with books that have LGBTQ+ characters and characters of color.
It's always been important to see accurate representation of any minority group in media, just from forever ago, because being able to see yourself makes you feel like you're not different, you're not weird.
I read Heartstopper. I related to one of the main characters in the book who was struggling with figuring out like who he wanted to be represented as. So I thought it was really relatable to me because I went through the same thing.
To learn more about Banned Book Week and to exercise your right to read, visit the LRC this week. This is Addie for WMTH News.
And now for your pop culture update, here is this week's episode of What's Up West Side.
Welcome, Maine West, to another episode of What's Up Westside, where we keep up with all the pop culture news. I'm your host, Omar Lanis, and let's get right into this week's news. On Friday, September 16th, The Woman King was released into theaters. The movie tells the story about the Agoge, an all-woman unit of warriors that protected the kingdom of Dahomey in the 1800s. The movie has garnered amazing reviews. However, a controversy has sparked around the film. Some people have started to call out the movie because it downplays the role of the kingdom of Dahomey it played in the slave trade. It was the largest exporter of slaves during the 1800s. Many critics are calling for a boycott of the film, even creating the hashtag Boycott Woman King. Since Hispanic Heritage Month began recently, we decided to highlight a Latina, and today we're doing the United States Poet Laureate. Over the summer in July, it was announced that Ada Limon, a Mexican-American who writes poems talking about society's relationship with nature and much more, will be the United States Poet Laureate for 2022 to 2023. She will be the first ever Latina in this position. She will start her duties on September 26th. She will be the official poet for the government and will be tasked to write poems for special events and occasions. You can see her work in her books, which can be found on her website. And that's all the time we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of What's Up Westside, and I will see you guys next week.
And now for this week's episode of The Maine Minute, featuring your school's announcements in a minute or less.
Hello, Maine West. My name is Nikhil, and welcome to The Maine Minute. Math team meets today after school to practice for their upcoming meets. Sophomores meet in B211 and seniors meet in B217. Art Club meets every Thursday after school in the B-Wing Art Suite. Key Club is hosting a stadium cleanup event on Saturday from 8 to 12. This is a great opportunity to earn service hours and help the school community. DECA meets Monday at 7:45 a.m. in D102. The Student Voice Committee meets every Wednesday at 7:45 a.m. in D105. Come and let your voice be heard. Students interested in producing their own radio show can sign up for production times by scanning this QR code. That's it for today's episode of The Maine Minute. See you next week.
Warrior Weekly loves to highlight musicians in our community. To close our show, here's Addison Studheit from Percussion Techniques.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Warrior Weekly.
Have a great week.